I used to listen to a mutual friend, Junior Spivey. He's in Arizona. They play baseball. Was talking about doing something in Arizona because I'll be there next week. And he said, hey, I have a friend, Adam, does great stuff, gives back to the community in Van Wert. I said, Van Wert? I never heard of it at the time. And he said, it's near Cleveland. I said, okay. Well, I played in Cleveland. It'd be good to come back and see some fans. And I talked to Adam. He invited me down, so I'm happy to be here. And just from the whole COVID thing last year, it's good to get back out with the public and share some time with the friends for a good cause. And going to be at, the State Fairground. So I'm looking forward to seeing the fans and having a good time.
So you broke into the majors, Rookie of the Year, at 19. At 20, you're the Cy Young Award winner in New York, the biggest media market in the world. Yeah. What was it like going from, a couple years removed from pitching in high school baseball in Tampa to the biggest stage and succeeding like you did on such an accelerated pace?
Oh, man, great question. It was a dream come true that initially was my dad's dream, became my dream. He taught me the game of baseball at a young age. Once I did that, like I said, I went Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, then ridden the World Series in New York. A year and a half out of high school, I'm in the majors. It was fun on the field, but off the field was a little difficult. What I mean by that was you couldn't go anywhere. So that part you weren't aware of because being a young kid, you want to go out, you want to go to the mall, you want to go shopping, you want to try to pick up girls or whatever. But there was so many people, fans outside the apartment, you couldn't go outside. And that part took some used to, some time to get used to it. But for his playing in New York, man, there's no better place. And still today, because of what I accomplished, they remember that and they cherish that. And just a good place to play and succeed.
That was my next question, is what is the reaction to Mets fans? I mean, you look at the lore of Mets history, and if you had a Mount Rushmore on there, Dwight Gooden would have to be in there, right?
Oh, wow, thank you. I appreciate that. I think so. Look at the stats, it's right there. But they always had great pitching. Like what DeGrom is doing now, it's unbelievable. He's fun to watch, and I mark my calendar every fifth day, so I'm right there watching him. I'm a huge fan. But it's fun, and like you said, they always grew in pitching, and I think pitching is the foundation for winning. And right now, you look at the Mets team, they're last in batting average, they're last in runs scored, but they're 2 games up, now winning position. So that's pitching, and so if they can maintain that, they'll be fine.
Well, you mentioned Jacob, and when you take a look at the modern day pitching, it's changed a lot since it hasn't been that long, but it's changed a lot in terms of philosophy since your playing days. So when you watch pitchers now, what goes through your mind? Because you're not seeing complete games. You're seeing huge velocity numbers and guys, like Blake Snell with a no-hitter in the 6th inning getting pulled. What do you see when you watch pitching today as opposed to what you did when you were a player?
It's totally different. Because I grew up in an area where when you take the ball, you expect it and within yourself to go 9 innings or at least 8 is just you and the closer. Now guys are going 5 innings, 100 pitches, or they don't want to face the lineup 3 times around. No disadvantage. It's a big disadvantage for the pitchers because, like you said, DeGrom, he went in 10, 11 games a year, but he has a 1-something ERA. So I'm sure he'll like to go deeper, but just the way the game has changed so much with analytics and everybody's punching numbers, that part of the game I don't really like. I like the old school baseball. You guys go out, if you're pitching good, your pitch counts down, continue to pitch. That's what you're there for. And I think it calls the bullpen at the end of the year where once teams make the playoff, you're seeing like the 4th and 5th starters pitching on the bullpen because the bullpen's shot because they're being used so much. And the guys are still breaking down. And you ask yourself, why is that? I think the reason was because, the velocity is up, guys are bigger and stronger. They're breaking down because they're not teaching mechanics. But if I can change one thing in baseball, I'll go back to let the starting pitchers go beyond, face lineup, 2 times around and going deeper in the game.
How do you feel like pitching has changed in terms of the approach? Because it's all strikeout. You were a strikeout guy. But it's all based on the fact that the batters are those 3 outcome guys where they're trying to hit home runs or get walked or they strike out.
Yep.
Do you feel like that benefits the pitcher? And if so, would you have loved to play in an era where, everybody's trying to swing for the fences and you can strike out a ton of guys?
Oh, definitely. You'd like to be in that area. No disrespect to the hitters, but it's a totally different game. Batting average don't matter no more. Moving guys over doesn't matter anymore. And stealing bases, you don't see that stuff. There's really no strategy. Guys, like the lunch angle, everybody's swinging for the fence. You can hit 180, but if you got 25 home runs, you had a great year. So obviously the strikeouts are up. Pitchers get more strikeouts. I was a high fastball pitcher, so you'll love the pitching this day. During my time, guys more for hitting for average, making contact, moving guys over, stealing bases, so on. Now I think, and again, what these pitchers are doing, DeGrom, Garrett Cole, is outstanding. And they can pitch in any area, I think. But I think it's the advantage to those guys. They know how to pitch, and they just stand up in the zone, and guys are chasing a high fastball, so it's to the pitcher's advantage.
You threw a no-hitter in '96 with the Yankees, Mariners, I believe.
Yes.
You know how hard it is to throw a no-hitter.
No.
When you see guys now throwing no-hitters every other week, I mean, there's 6 no-hitters already in the season. We're still in May.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
Me personally, I might be a little biased because I was a pitcher. I love it. And the reason why I love it, because for the past 3-4 years before the COVID, everybody was hitting 50, 60 home runs. And everybody, oh, baseball's great. Well, being a pitcher, I like the 2-1 ball games. I love the no-hitters. And everybody's saying now, you know, the pitchers got the advantage, what they're doing. But I love it. I love these ball games. And I think those pitchers deserve credit where a lot of people say the no-hitter don't mean as much. But it's tough to throw a no-hitter. I mean, Nolan made it look easy, but everybody else, I mean, it's really tough. It takes, obviously, making pitches when you need to. It takes a little bit of luck in it. But to do that, I think it's still just as important as it was, 10, 15 years ago.
For you, when you take a look back at your baseball career, what do you most remember? What really sticks out to you that you'll, never forget in your lifetime? I imagine there's a lot.
It is a lot. If I had to pick a couple, obviously the no-hitter, because the magnitude behind that. Been on a baseball the year before. Then in '96, I started off 0-3. I used to get benched. When a pitcher gets benched, that means you're not getting in the game. If you're up 10 or you're down 10, you're not getting in the game. Unfortunately, David Cohn got the aneurysm. That's how I got back into the rotation. And then the day that I pitched the no-hitter, I was supposed to go home to be with my father, who was he had been on dialysis for 15 years, getting ready to have heart surgery, which they said he had to have it. He probably wasn't going to make it anyway. I had my ticket to go home. I decided that he probably wanted me to pitch. And I pitched the no-hitter that day. He never made it home. He ended up passing away. But the last game he saw me pitch was a no-hitter. So from a personal standpoint, that would probably be the highlight of my career.
You mentioned, when guys are hitting 40, 50, 60 home runs. I mean, you kind of pitched in the steroid era, if you will. How did you view that as a pitcher now, looking back? I mean, did you know about all those guys? Did it make it tougher for you? How do you view guys that put up numbers like Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco, now knowing some of the things that you do know that maybe you didn't as a player back in the day?
Good point. Towards the end of my career, you started noticing guys doing it. You didn't think that it had an effect, but looking at it now, it did. The guys you just mentioned, the numbers they was putting up, I remember, I guess, was Brady Anderson hitting the 50. There's guys like that. It's unfair to the game. I think it's a lot of disrespect to the game. But the players, just talking to players, they say everybody was doing it. But if everybody's jumping off a bridge, you're not going to do it. But I can understand, like, some guys doing it to try to keep up, or guys in the minors trying to get there to do it. I understand why they did it. But it's just a disrespect to the game that they did it. And I'm glad baseball came down the way they did come down on it.
Do you think those guys, even some pitchers, Roger Clemens, those guys have been implicated. Do you think those guys deserve a chance to be in the Hall of Fame? Or
Oh, man.
I know, I'm putting you on the
yeah, you put
spot.
on the spot. No, that's good. I think so. Certain guys, yes, because a guy like Palmeiro, who I know very well, is a good guy. He went from 10 home runs to 40, 50 home runs. So guys like that might say, I don't know, but if you put one in, you got to put them all in. Bonds, I think when he was with the Pirates, he probably been a Hall of Fame player anyway. Clemens, with the numbers he put up, probably been a Hall of Fame guy anyway. So some of those guys, I would really look down at it and probably put them in. Bonds, Clemens, yes, I'll definitely put them in. Sosa, I'm not sure. I think about that a bit more. I'm just being honest. McGwire, I would say yes. I mean, this guy came in, his rookie year, he hit 49 home runs. So I don't think he really needed it. I mean, he just went from hitting balls 400 feet to hitting 500 feet. That's the difference. But, I don't know. It's a great question, though. But I would probably, if I had to say yes or no, I would probably say yes, put him in. Because you still got to do the job.